Okay, so as I was saying, we had put in A, B, and C yesterday. Or excuse me, A and B. I was just at the point of it's negative 10 over 2 times 2, which becomes negative 10 over 4, reduces to negative 5 halves. I am fine with you saying either the axis of symmetry is negative 5 halves, or, and this is because I know what's coming up next, if you prefer to go decimal on this one, and prefer to say x equals negative 2.5, that works as well. Okay? So, either way, we've used that negative b over 2a, and we found this means we have our h value. How do we find the other half of our vertex? If we look at where I am right now, we have axis of symmetry. So we're going for vertex form, which means I'm looking for the vertex. What is the form of the vertex? What do you know about the vertex? It is what? HK? So what do we already know about the vertex if the vertex is HK? The H. So right now I know that my something. Okay, so remember, I keep saying this. The first number in your vertex is your axis of symmetry. So it's x equals negative 2.5. How do I find the second number in my vertex? If I know H now, how do I find K? That's what we've got to figure out here. Kendra?
Can we use the formula that they have at the top, K equals F times H?
Okay, so yeah, what they say at the top, and I don't know if you guys understand what this means, is K equals F of H, which means in order to find K, it means we find F of H. F of H means you take H and you plug it into your equation. So do I know H? I know H. Okay, it's my X value, right? We're going to take this X value and plug it into your original equation, so into the standard form. So we're going to plug it into that 2x squared plus 10x plus 7. And that will find us our K value. So, y equals 2x squared. That means I'm going to be doing 2 times negative 2.5 squared plus 10 times negative 2.5 plus 7. And now you see why I picked to go with the decimal. Because you guys would not be happy with me right now if I forced the fraction. Okay? So can you find y? The answer is yes, because you're all going to pull out your calculators and you're all going to do some math, right? You're not going to make me do all this math. Negative 2.5 squared and times 2. Let's figure out that. Or if you want to, you can enter this all into your calculator at once if you're confident enough. Okay? Otherwise, let's do the pieces. So 2 times negative 2.5 squared. You got that for me? 12.5. And keep in mind, when you do that negative 2.5 squared, it needs to come up as a positive, right? So either just enter 2.5 squared, or you have to put parentheses around it and do negative 2.5 squared. Times 2 is 12.5, right? What's 10 times negative 2.5?
Negative 25.
So minus 25, and then we still have a plus 7. Clean it up. 12.5 minus 25 plus 7. Negative 5.5. And that is y, which is also my what? My k. Okay, yes. H and x, yes, are interchangeable. When we're talking about h, that's the first number in the vertex, so it's also an x value. So same thing I'm going to say about k and y, is that when I say k, that's the second number in the vertex, so that's a y value. Yes?
I'm not sure if this is true for everybody else, but like for me, can you use a different pen? That was like really hard to see.
I can do that. The red is not working for you? It's a plain red pin.
It looks pink up there.
Okay, but it's not working for you is the point. I heard you. Okay. And that's what you guys gotta do. You just gotta tell me.
I wanted to ask the same question.
Because the thing is, if I were to walk back there right now, I'd probably be like, oh my gosh, yeah, how are you guys seeing that? But I'm not standing back there. It's perfectly fine right here for me. See, Maddie's saying it agreeing with me, so. Okay, it all depends on where you're at. It depends on your eyes. I get it. But yes, tell me if a certain color is not working. And I will gladly change. Okay, are we all cut up right here? Other than some of you can't see it very well, it sounds like. Sorry. Okay, so my goal, let's see. We just found Y, yes? So what's that telling me about my vertex? Okay, it's negative 2.5, comma, negative 5.5. Is that more viewable? It's my deep red, burgundy, maroon, whatever color pin. That's way better. Okay. Again, you've just got to tell me.
Way better.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Goal. What was our goal? Vertex form. This is when I have to go back and read the question. I'm as guilty as you guys. Like, where are we going with all this? Oh, yeah, we're going for vertex form. So remind me, what is vertex form?
F of x equals ax to the second plus bx. Oh, wait. Read the wrong one.
You were right at the beginning, but then you went astray.
F of x equals ax minus h to the second plus k.
There we go. Okay. And she said f of x. I wrote y. Remember, f of x and y interchangeable, yes? So I have y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. It did seem like Math Excel was doing more f of x yesterday, weren't they? So either way. So now when I write this, do I have all the information I need?
Yes. No, not yet.
Okay, so altogether we need to have h, k, and a. Do we have h and k? Yeah, that's my vertex, right? Do we have a?
No.
Does A come from the standard form?
We do have a.
Oh.
And the awesome news is that means, did we have to do any work to find a?
No.
No. If they give you standard form, they're giving you your ABCs. That A from your ABCs is the same A I need here as part of my AHK.
Oh, yeah, because it was 210.7. Yeah.
Okay, so final answer. Y equals A is 2 times X minus H. So that's X minus negative 2.5. So it becomes X plus 2.5 quantity squared plus K minus 5.5. Yeah, so good news. You didn't have to do any work to find A. Because I know some of you are out there thinking, oh man, no, we still have to find A? Yuck. But the key on this one, you had to find the axis of symmetry, you had to find the vertex. Which basically then you had to find the vertex. Okay? Now, that problem was split amongst 2 days. Lots of conversations in the middle. Shall we try B and see if we can put it all together now?
Yeah.
Okay, see if we have some confidence in this. The question is, what is the vertex form? So again, like we just talked about, what's the form we're going for? Oh. The form I'm going for, vertex form, y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. That's the form we're going for. But we are currently in standard form, yes?
Yep.
And standard form is the ax squared plus bx plus c. So you may not personally need to write them down, but as a teacher guiding you through it, I always write them down. What are my ABCs?
Negative
A
1.
is -1, B is 4, and C is -5.
Okay, A is -1 because there's a negative in front of that x squared, so that means A is -1, B is 4, C is -5. Are we okay with my ABCs?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in order to find vertex form, we need to find axis of symmetry because that's going to help me find H.
Yeah.
Okay, axis of symmetry. What's my formula?
Negative B over 2 times A.
Okay. X equals negative b over 2a. Or if you prefer, instead of saying x, you can say h. So negative b, negative 4 over 2 times a, which is negative 1. Oh, I like this problem much better already. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Negative 4 divided by negative 2 is 2. So axis of symmetry, x equals 2. And that is also my h value. Now what? The vertex. What do you know about the vertex? It starts with 2. Because it starts with whatever our axis of symmetry is. So I know right now, before I do any work, my vertex is 2 something. How are you finding the second half of that vertex?
You plug in
Okay, we're plugging in that h, that x, that 2, right? And where are we plugging it into? The original equation. So, it's negative x squared, which means the negative of 2 squared plus 4 times 2 minus 5. Notice how I wrote negative 2 squared, or how I said it. I said at the time as the negative of 2 squared. So you're doing the negative of whatever x squared is, when that negative is in front of the x squared. So what is 2 squared? 4. So what's the negative of 4 then? Negative 4. So this is not, okay, I make it negative 2 and square it. That's not what this is. This is the negative or the opposite of x squared. So since x squared comes out to be positive 4, we're going to use negative 4. Okay? Plus 4 times 2, which is 8, minus 5. Negative 4 plus 8 minus 5. We get y equals negative 1. And what do you know about that y equals negative 1?
It's K.
It's, okay. Both the things I wanted to hear. It's K. It's the second half of my vertex. So now I have, you're asked to find axis of symmetry and vertex. You know how to do that. Now, officially, did they even ask me to find axis of symmetry and vertex? No. They asked me to write vertex form. And that is the skills we are using to write vertex form. So, there we go. You got an answer? We have to be able to fill in A, H, and K. What are you thinking?
y equals negative 1 x minus 2 squared plus minus 1.
think so. So now, when that A is -1, you can write a -1 out front, or what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a negative sign. Okay? If you write -1, I won't count it wrong. I can't speak for Math Excel, sorry. X minus, what do we say? 2 squared plus K, so -1.
So how does the, oh, never mind.
Okay, glad I could help. Yes.
So we graph using the vertex form, right?
It's easier to, yes. I mean, we're going to graph some using standard form also, but
I know, but if it's easier to graph using vertex form, then why is standard form that weird A, B, C stuff? Like, why is vertex just a standard?
I would say because the vertex form, it provides you the vertex, so that's why they call it vertex form. I really don't know. I know, because in all honesty, other than the graphing stuff, we use standard form more. Because when we start solving the equation, this quadratic equations in the second half of the chapter, we have to factor, we have to use quadratic formula, things like those, we'll use more of the standard form. So, yes?
So are we not supposed to use the parentheses on the calculator with the squaring? When I do it, makes it, actually not good enough.
Are you talking about this one right here?
Yeah, the -2 coming out.
So this one, you're not squaring -2. That's the difference. Yeah, if you were putting in -2 and squaring it, then yes, you would want parentheses and it should come out positive. But this one, we're doing the negative of 2 squared, which is the equivalent of not using parentheses on your calculator. Okay. So, yeah, that funny little trick we have to watch out for. Okay. Good on that? I think we can hopefully do it when we get to it in homework. Okay, example type 2. We've done some of this the other day. Remember where we had to find vertex, axis of symmetry, minimum or maximum value, domain, and range? Well, we're doing all of those except domain. Which, what do you guys remember about domain? It was always all reals, right? Okay, it was always all reals. So we're finding the other 4. The difference is, last time it was given to us in vertex form. And so a lot of that information was right there for us. We're finding the same information, but we're being given this equation in standard form. And so we have to look at it from a different viewpoint here. Okay, so standard form, if you recall, please, standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. And they asked me to find the vertex and the axis of symmetry. Officially, though, we can't really find the vertex until we find the axis of symmetry. So could we start off finding our axis of symmetry? Okay. How do I find my axis of symmetry?
Negative b over 2a.
Okay. X equals negative b over 2a, which you may not choose to write this down, but officially, what are my ABCs?
2. 2.
A is 2, B is 8, C is -2. As I said, you may not choose to write those down, but for teaching purposes, I write them down. Honestly, if I'm doing this problem on my own, am I going to write down my ABCs? I'll be honest, no, I won't. Okay? But with a group, I definitely will. Okay, negative b over 2a. What do we have here? Negative 8 over 2 times 2. So that's negative 8 over 4. And negative 8 over 4 becomes negative 2. So what do we know here? X equals negative 2. We have found our axis of symmetry, our H. Okay. What do we find after the axis of symmetry? The vertex. What do you already know about the vertex? The first point is -2. So I know my vertex is -2, comma, something. Okay. How do I find the something? Okay. Take that axis of symmetry, that h value, -2, plug it back into the original standard form. So, y equals 2 times -2 squared plus 8 times -2 minus 2. Okay, what happens with that 2 times -2 squared? First, you have to exponent. So -2 squared becomes +4. And then +4 times 2 becomes 8. Okay? Exponents and then multiply by that coefficient out front. 8 times -2, -16, and a -2. So 8 minus 16 minus 2 is the way I wrote it. Becomes
-10.
-10. And what is this -10?
Y.
Okay? It's your y value, it's your k value. Second number in the vertex. You see this process we keep doing today? Axis of symmetry, vertex. Axis of symmetry, vertex. Hopefully you walk out of here today knowing how to do that. Okay, we have 2 more questions to answer. They want to know the maximum or minimum value. Think about what we learned the other day, because you can still use the same information from the other day. It's still the same for maximum, minimum value. Do you remember anything? I see people looking it up, which is good too.
Maximum -10.
It says maximum -10. Why?
I don't know, it's not funny. Sorry, I remember doing. Because
Okay.
second number on the vertex.
Okay, second number in the vertex, he says.
And it's the most
Okay. Eli?
Minimum -10.
it'll be a minimum.
If it goes up, if the first number is a positive, so it would be a minimum.
So what does A tell me right here?
If it's upside down or right side up.
My A value is 2. I don't really care that my A value is 2. My A is +2. And so what's that say about my parabola? It's going to open upwards, right? Okay, so because A is positive, my parabola opens up. So where is your vertex?
-2, -10.
Okay, but specifically the vertex is at the bottom, which makes it a minimum. So I like the -10, but that -10 is a minimum value. So yes, I do agree. It is always the K value. The min or max, you have to decide. Is my parabola opening up and it's the bottom point, so it's a minimum? Or is my parabola upside down and it's the top, so it's a maximum?
So if it was A equals -2, then it would be a maximum.
Yes. Yeah, if my A had been negative, it would be a maximum. Because then my parabola would be upside down and the vertex would be at the top. Okay? Yes?
I was going to ask,
Oh, you're on the next part? Okay, last thing we have to find is the range. And if you recall, range is based on what we just did. What are we thinking here?
-10 less than or equal to infinity.
Different form. We didn't use infinity.
Y.
Range is always in terms of y. So we're always starting with y. It's
Y is
It's based on our min or max value. So the number we're going to use is
Y is greater than
y is something negative 10. If negative 10 is a minimum, it's at the bottom of my parabola. Where is the rest of the parabola? It's above, so it's greater than or equal to. So we have a range of y greater than or equal to negative 10. And that's because that vertex is at the bottom, which means the rest of the parabola goes up. Yes? Is it an emergency? Let me just go real quick if you want. He'll save us time. Okay. Can we practice that skill again? Make sure we've got it cemented in our heads. I have a feeling the one thing we're not going to really get through today is the graphing with example 3. Okay. Same thing we just did. Can you stay a step ahead of me this time? What are the vertex, axis of symmetry, max, min value, and range of said equation? Y equals negative 3x squared minus 4x plus 6. Okay, what are you guys starting off with? Axis of symmetry. How do we find axis of symmetry?
Negative B.
Okay. Negative b over 2a. Now I'm going to backtrack for a moment. I'm going to identify my ABCs. Okay. Which, remember, this original equation is in standard form, yes? ax squared plus bx plus c. So what are my ABCs?
A is -3, B is -4, C is 6.
Okay, I can go with that. A is -3, B is -4, C is 6. Okay. Negative B. So what's it mean when it says negative B and B is negative? Becomes positive, right? It's the opposite. So it's saying the negative B says the opposite of B. So that becomes positive 4 over 2 times A. So 2 times -3, so 4 over -6. What do you know about 4 over -6? It can reduce and become -2/3, -2 over 3, 2 over -3, some kind of variation of -2/3. Do I want a decimal for that?
No.
I don't. Okay. You can't go decimal on this one. I know some of you want to because you're thinking about what we have to do next, and you're not liking me right now, but I can't go decimal on this one. Because if I go decimal, that means I have to round this. 2/3, do you guys know what 2/3 is as a decimal? It's 0.6 repeating. Okay? And so we can't, we would have to round it and we would change that value, which changes the whole problem. So, I let you earlier, but I can't this time. We're going to have to deal with fractions. So, x is -2/3. And so we have at least found we have our axis of symmetry. We have the first half of the vertex. That's the good news, right? To find the second half of the vertex, we have to use the first half of the vertex. It's a fraction. That's the bad news. Okay, so we know our vertex right now. -2/3, comma, something. Okay, so let's write it out, and then we'll work it through together. We're taking that negative 2/3 and putting it where?
Plugging it into the original.
Okay. Yep, plugging into the original equation. So negative 3 times negative 2/3 squared minus 4 times negative 2/3 plus 6. I don't care if your calculator can do it or not. You need to be able to do this by hand. You don't get a calculator on all parts of ISTEP. We need to be able to do this stuff by hand. So, okay. First of all, exponents. Negative 2/3 squared. What's it mean to square something? Multiply it by itself. So what's negative 2 times negative 2? 4. What's 3 times 3? 9. And so what is negative 2/3 squared? 4/9. And then I'm going to be doing negative 3 times 4/9. How do you make negative 3 a fraction? Put it over 1. Now, I'm a cross-canceling type of person. I'm not sure all of you guys are cross-canceling type of people. Some of you guys just like to multiply and then reduce. But you have two options. You could multiply across. This would become negative 12 over 9. Please reduce. Or, my preference is to cross-cancel. What can 3 and 9 both divide by?
3.
3. So 9 divided by 3 becomes 3. I guess it's a negative 3 up here, but when you divide it by 3, it's a 1 or a negative 1. So now, when I multiply those pieces together, negative 1 times 4 over 1 times 3 becomes negative 4/3. Again, you can't go decimal, okay? I have not done anything out of your skill range. Some of you are stressing with me and saying, oh my gosh, you expect me to be able to do this? Yes, I do. Okay? These are fractions. You just have to force yourself to deal with them and not avoid them. Okay, next part. Minus 4 times minus 2/3. How do we make 4 a fraction? 4 over 1. Can I cross cancel here? Nope. 4 and 3 don't cross cancel. 2 and 1 don't cross cancel. So negative 4 times negative 2 over 1 times 3 becomes 8 over 3. And then it says plus 6. Now, what do you notice about the other two pieces I already have? They're fractions with a denominator of 3. Well, let's be smart about this. 6 as a fraction is 6 over 1. What is that when you put it over 3?
2.
Well, okay. Not what I was asking. 18 is what I was looking for. Okay. The idea is when I get down here and I want 6 to be something over 3. What divided by 3 is 6? And that is 18. Or what I should have done, how do you make this denominator of 1 become a 3? Times it by 3. If you multiply the denominator by 3, you've got to multiply the numerator by 3. And there is 3 times 6, which is the 18 I was looking for. Okay. This does not require a calculator. Negative 4/3 plus 8/3. Well, negative 4 plus 8 is 4. So 4/3. 4/3 plus 18/3. 4 plus 18 is 22. So 22/3. Now, I'm fine with 22/3. Math Excel is not a fan of mixed numbers, ever. Okay? They're going to prefer improper fractions. I can guarantee that one. So 22/3. Now, did someone out there give me a mixed number? I wouldn't count it wrong. Do you know what it is? Yeah, it is 7 1/3. Okay? Either way works. Matt, I would not put 7 1/3 into Math Excel. I don't know that I've ever seen them want a mixed number. Yeah, so I would be shocked there. Okay, so we have an axis of symmetry. We have a vertex. I need a maximum or minimum value.
Maximum.
Yeah. I wanna see those.
This time, A is negative. Because A is negative, that means my parabola is upside down, which means my vertex is at the top and is a maximum. Maximum value of what?
22.
22/3. Always the K value, the second number in the vertex. If my vertex has a maximum, a high point, where's the rest of the parabola? Underneath it, below it. So that means what? Less than or equal to 22/3. So I have a range that is y less than or equal to 22/3. Okay. Yes, I have like 5 minutes left. However, that is a perfect stopping point for multiple reasons. One, my other two classes didn't even really get started in the notes yesterday. So they're not even really started. And then on top of it, we move into graphing, big problems. So tomorrow we will be graphing. Yes. Tomorrow we will be graphing. And we'll probably look at least one of the word problems. Okay, on the next page. We probably won't do both word problems, but we'll look at one of them and how a parabola relates to a bridge. You are welcome to start into Math Excel, but I will not have it due until
Tuesday? No, that's Friday.
We get
Wait.
Friday at midnight.
Monday.
Lunes.
Okay, if Lunes is Monday, then I'll take Lunes. But if that's not Monday, that's not what I really meant. Just so you know.
Lunes is Friday.
I think I could do on Friday.